My family spent 10 years treating me like their biggest disappointment. Until my brother's fiancée looked across the candlelit table at his engagement dinner and whispered the one sentence that made every smug face in that Chicago Gold Coast mansion freeze. "Wait, Jessica? Are you the founder of VitalLink?" That single moment cracked open everything they thought they knew about me. My name is Jessica Caldwell. For a decade, I was the cautionary tale in a family that measured success by degrees, titles, and corner offices, while my brother Marcus collected every accolade. Harvard, Northwestern Law, six-figure salary at a top firm. My parents, Dr. Eleanor Caldwell and senior partner William Caldwell, sighed about how I hadn't found my way yet. Before I take you through that night and everything that led to it, thanks for being here. If this kind of raw comeback story hits home, drop a comment below. I love these stories. And hit like, subscribe, so you never miss these. All right, let's dive in. I grew up in that perfect Gold Coast brownstone, where expectations weren't just high, they were carved in stone. Everything was a competition, and Marcus always won, straight as debate captain, valedictorian. The soundtrack of my childhood was, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" I wasn't dumb. I just saw the world differently. While Marcus memorized facts, I questioned systems and imagined better ones. My third grade teacher called me innovatively disruptive. My father called it difficult. They forced traditional study hours. I secretly taught myself to code. Built my first website at 11, a simple app by 14. None of it counted. High school widened the gap. Marcus went to an elite boarding school. I stayed local. Family dinners became report cards on his latest triumphs, with polite questions about my B's in calculus. My only ally was Aunt Riley, Dad's younger sister who became a graphic novelist instead of a lawyer. "They'll never understand people like us," she told me in her Wicker Park studio. "We see possibilities where they see paths already taken." Marcus got into Harvard. The celebration lasted weeks. I got into UIUC for computer science. Mom sighed. At least it's respectable. I lasted 2.5 years before dropping out for a health tech internship in Austin. When I told them, Dad walked out of the room. Mom's voice went ice cold. "We've spent a fortune on your education. What now?" "Work at a coffee shop." I explained the opportunity. Dad scoffed. "Those garage projects disappear in 6 months." They saw failure. I saw freedom. I left with one suitcase, a laptop, and $1,800. They threw Marcus a going-away party the same weekend. My name wasn't in the album. In their eyes, I was gone for good. Austin felt like breathing for the first time. I rented a tiny studio in East Austin, lived on cheap tacos and office coffee, and threw myself into work. My boss, Dr. Patel, saw what my family never had. "You don't just code," he said after I rebuilt their patient portal. "You see the pain." That's rare. 8 months in, during a brutal meeting about hospital systems that couldn't talk to each other, I sketched an idea on a napkin. A universal layer that cleaned and translated messy healthcare data instantly. Dr. Patel looked at it. Build it. Now. I called it VitalLink. For 18 months, I lived at my desk. Day job. Then nights coding until my vision blurred. I ate ramen like it was gourmet. When the prototype worked on real data, I cried alone at 3 a.m. First pitch at a small meetup. A no-nonsense VC stood up. That solves a $2 billion problem. I'm in. $750,000 in seed funding. VitalLink Health was born. I stayed anonymous on purpose. J. Caldwell everywhere. Hired a seasoned co-o for investor meetings. Female founders still face bias, but mostly I didn't want my family to know. I needed to win without their approval. Year 1 nearly broke us. Cash ran low twice. I slept on the office couch. Year 2 brought the first hospital contracts. Year 3 exploded. Series B at 38 million, 90 employees, profitable. By year 6, we were in 187 hospital systems, expanding to Europe, cutting medical errors by 37% on average. Valuation, 420 million. Industry called it the quiet revolution in healthcare. My family? Still thought I was figuring things out in Texas. Holiday calls lasted minutes. Still in tech? Mom would ask, like it was a hobby. I never corrected them. Then the cream-colored envelope arrived. Marcus's engagement dinner. Black tie. Their house. His note. It's been too long. Means a lot if you come. I almost said no. But something pulled me back. I packed simple. Black dress. Nothing flashy. Flew to Chicago. Booked the Langham. Neutral ground. The night of the dinner, I stood outside that familiar door, heart pounding. Mom opened it. Perfect smile, perfect pearls. Jessica, darling, air kiss. Dad's hug was stiff. Inside. Lilies and money. Family photos. Marcus's side kept growing. Mine stopped at college. Everyone was there. Lauren, Marcus's fiancée, hugged me like family. I've heard so much about you. Dinner started polite. Small talk. Then Uncle Roger leaned in. Still tinkering out in Austin. Mom jumped in. She's doing wonderfully. Finding her path. I smiled. Said nothing. Then Lauren started talking about her new job. I just started at this incredible company. VitalLink. Their platform is unreal. Hospitals that used to chase records for days now see everything instantly. The founder is this mysterious woman, Caldwell. Everyone calls her the ghost, but her code changed everything. She paused, looked at me, tilted her head. Oh my God, she whispered. Then louder, Jessica, your initials, health tech. Wait, are you her? Mom's fork hit her plate. Dad froze. Marcus blinked. Lauren's eyes widened. You founded VitalLink. The one valued at 400 million? 420. I said quietly. The room went dead silent. Uncle Roger choked on his wine. Cousin Claire was already on her phone. Mom finally spoke. You never told us. When? I asked, voice steady. When you called Austin a fantasy. When you said don't come home if it failed. When every conversation for 10 years was about Marcus making you proud and me figuring things out. Dad cleared his throat. Lawyer mode. This is extraordinary. Why the secrecy? Because I needed to build it without your scorecard, without the comparisons, without hearing it wasn't Harvard or real enough. I needed one thing that was mine. Lauren looked equal parts thrilled and mortified. I work for you. I implemented your system at Northwestern last month. It's life-changing. Aunt Riley raised her glass to Jessica, who did it her way and proved every doubt wrong. Only half the glasses went up. Mom stood abruptly. I need to check on coffee. She fled. Dad pivoted to business questions. Valuation, investors, expansion. Like that erased 10 years. Marcus stared, something between pride and shock in his eyes. Later, in the hallway, he pulled me aside. Why didn't you tell me? Even me. Because you never really asked. I said gently. And honestly, I didn't want your approval anymore. I wanted my own. He looked down. I'm proud of you. I mean it. I know. And that feels good. But it's not why I did it. The rest of the night was tense. Mom returned, composed but brittle. Dad offered connections I'd already made. Lauren hugged me goodbye and whispered, "Coffee tomorrow? I have feature ideas." I left into the cool night air. Back at the hotel, I sat on the balcony overlooking the lake and let the tears come. Not sadness, relief. Finally, breathing. 3 months later, we opened our Midwest headquarters right here in Chicago. Mom, Dad, and Marcus came to the ribbon cutting. Mom teared up when I spoke about building tools that help real people. Not prestige, just impact. Dad shook my hand like an equal. Marcus admitted he's reading health tech articles now to keep up with my little sister. We're not magically fixed. Old habits linger. But we talk, really talk, for the first time in years. Here's what I learned. Your worth isn't defined by someone else's measuring stick. The people who love you most can wound you deepest when their fear wears the mask of disappointment. But you don't owe them your light until you're ready to let it shine. And when you do, own it completely. I built a company that connects broken systems so doctors can save lives. Along the way, I reconnected my own. Success isn't the valuation or the validation. It's creating something true to who you are and watching it make a difference. Whether that's a platform, a relationship, or a life lived on your terms. If you've ever felt like the one who didn't fit the mold, keep building. Quietly at first if you must. Fiercely when you can. One day the table turns, and the truth speaks louder than any "I told you so." What about you? Share your story in the comments. Have you had that moment when the doubters had to face the truth? Like, if this resonated, subscribe for more stories of turning doubt into drive. The best revenge isn't loud. It's living so fully, they can't look away.